It's not the best of times for the ruling APC as President Muhammadu Buhari today met with governors of the party and the caretaker committee. And the governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, has replied to former Speaker Yakubu Dogara over his defection to the APC and saying that his stories against him are lies. Hello everyone and welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimale in Lagos. So much we'll talk about tonight. Let's begin by telling you about some of the reactions we're getting about the movement of the former speaker from his former party now back to the APC. So the return of Yakubu Dogara, the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, to the APC is getting more reaction, this time from the governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed. The governor says all allegations leveled against him by the former speaker are all fabricated lies. Dogara had earlier claimed that Governor Mohammed allegedly diverted 4.6 billion naira loan, inflated contract sum, and the award done in violation of extant rules. He also alleged segmentation of salaries, which is being outsourced to a private firm, mismanagement of local government funds, inability to conduct local government election, in addition to disregard for traditional rulers. The governor is reacting to some of these issues. Take a listen to him.
Yakubu Dogara. Yes, it is a very regrettable development. It is unfortunate because he's a young man that we so much love and appreciate, including me. Even now, I don't have any malice against him. But he came to show his true color as a pretender, as a fabricator of lies against my person, who has helped him to reconnect and recapture his mandate as a member of the House of Reps after being expelled by my adversary, the former governor. We wish him well. And we told them that there shouldn't be any rancor, there shouldn't be any conflicts. They should carry themselves with decorum. And I am really assured that the course is clear, that we are family on the ground in Tafawa Balewa Bogorodas. And I have made some promises to them, and I seize the opportunity to really debunk all the lies that he advanced with regards to the local government election, local government monies, projects and programs, and so on and so forth, with reasons. And they are all appreciated. I'm happy I got the opportunity to connect with them and to reassure the leaders of PDP in Nigeria that Bauchi is intact, is still PDP. And the home base of the PDP in Bauchi State is Bauchi local government, Tafawa Balewa Bogorodas. And it is there by the grace of God. And of course, I alerted them with some development that I'm aware of, that they will cause some security breach. But as a point of responsibility of leadership, we will not allow that. But certainly, there shouldn't be any conflict, any rancor, any fight. He should be free to actualize his aspirations if he is trying to be bigger than what he is, or if he is trying to run away from some fears that he may be harboring. But certainly he continues to be my brother, and I think he should think that since he was elected or re-elected, he never came back. And that is not good politics, considering the capacity and intellect that I know Dogara has. That is the most foolish decision to take.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, then you heard the governor there. We'll go into speaking with a governor of the APC tonight about the conversations at the meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari, the APC, some of the development in his state and the way forward for the APC. But first, let's check out our political roundup.
The federal government has said the fight against corruption by the President Buhari-led administration is not dead. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, insists that the anti-corruption fight is as strong as ever and that the government has records to back up the claim, having recovered looted funds in excess of 800 billion naira, with over 1,400 convictions secured.
This government has recorded over 1,400 convictions, including high-profile ones, and recovered funds in excess of 800 billion naira.
The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has dismissed the appeal filed by Senator Dino Melaye challenging the election of Senator Adeyemi. The court dismissed the appeal on the ground that it is incompetent and all 7 issues raised in the appeal were resolved against Senator Melaye, with a cost of 50,000 naira awarded against him. The candidate of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, in the Edo State governorship election, Pastor Sage Izeyamu, has continued his campaign in the state ahead of the September 19 election, and he's insisting on the efficacy of a simple agenda, but says that he has moved beyond the issues of the last election cycle. The former APC national chairman, Mr. Adam Sushomole, was with him at the forum and was very critical of the activities of the incumbent governor.
God has his reason for saying, going back home and pay your debts and work for pastor 2020. Yes, so that you can get 18 over 18.
Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State has held an emergency security meeting with heads of security agencies in the state as part of efforts to resolve the rising security challenges in the southern part of the state. The meeting, which comes days after many people were killed by gunmen in 4 local government areas in southern Kaduna, is to review the security situation and find lasting peace to the area.
So let's get into our conversation tonight. President Muhammadu Buhari has met with governors of the All Progressives Congress APC at the presidential villa, and he says that he's pleased with the work of the party's caretaker committee, especially its efforts at coordinating and strengthening the party. The meeting, which was held virtually, also had the chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum, Atiku Bagudu, physically present at the villa. Others in attendance include the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, and the Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari. The President, Buhari also commended the governors over the success of the party's governorship primary in Edo and Ondo State. But all may not be well with the ruling party, considering some of the internal bickerings that we have seen in the past. We've seen open disagreement between members of the executive and the legislature, and some confrontation that come between members of the same government openly. Today, some of the conversation that has been thrown up is how the party can quickly resolve some of these issues. Just yesterday, some professionals, young professionals in the party, are asking the president to intervene. So, meeting of the president with the governors, we want to find out what exactly are the issues raised today. I'm being joined by the governor of Nasarawa State, who was also at that meeting. Governor Abdullahi Sule joins us from Lafia, the capital of Nasarawa State. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight on the program. Let me begin the conversation. I'm very sure that the development in your party was at the fulcrum of the meeting today. So, what is the reaction of the president, for example, to some of the major crises confronting your party?
Thank you very much for having me, Shaun. I don't know about any major crisis in the party. But going back to the question, what actually happened today, I think today is an endorsement of success, of happiness by Mr. President. Mr. President clearly stated how happy he was with everything that is going on within the party, especially with the committee. Mr. President re-emphasized, the need for the party to remain intact, to remain together, and to remain strong, and to continue to give proper leadership for this country. And if there is any major crisis, like you said, I don't know about major crisis. Instead, what I heard coming out from Mr. President is a sign of confidence, it's a sign of happiness, it's a sign that at least the party is on the right direction, especially with the effort of His Excellency, the Governor of Yobe, who has continued to provide the proper leadership that is needed. And the leadership of the chairman of our APC Governors Forum, Governor Bagudu of Kebbi, who has also continued to steer the leadership of the party at the governors forum, by making sure that everything is going on fine. And also, clearly, what we are seeing today in places like Edo, where you can see the former chairman, Adams Oshomole, coming out to lead the party and to show maturity, to show leadership, to show what politics is all about, and to be the one at the forefront of leading the party. So I think that's what I have seen. I have not seen the crisis yet.
Okay, so let me bring out one that perhaps maybe some of us who are closer to the grassroots, Your Excellency, might be able to identify some of these issues. Some young professionals in your party yesterday held a press briefing, and they are concerned about what we have seen as major confrontation. Let me list some of them for you, sir. For example, the Ministry of Labor had an open confrontation with Honorable Faleke at a pro-panel where personal issues were raised about even the leader of the APC, the former governor of Lagos State. There was an open confrontation between the Minister of Niger Delta with another member of the party in the APC. There's also, the list goes on, Governor Sule. Is the president worried about the relationship of executive members in your party and the leaders of the party who are also the majority in the National Assembly? Is the president concerned about these issues?
Those issues did not come up at all, and those issues cannot come up because, like you said, you mentioned grassroots, and now you are mentioning about some of the Abuja activities. That's not grassroots. We are grassroots right here on ground. I'm in Lafia. I go from one village to another. I know what is happening at the grassroots level. It's just differences that continue to exist, like you clearly mentioned, and rightly so, when you said personal. Some of these issues are not party issues. They are issues of personal disagreement between one person to another. And those happen when there is democracy. It happens even when there is military arrangement. That has nothing to do with the party. The issue of the party having disagreement is where you will see, something going on within the party structure itself happening and destroying the main brain of the party. There is nothing like that in the APC. I think you are just talking, when you mention about some of these young professionals, who are they at the grassroots level? Who knows them? When you talk about the election, most of these people, nobody knows them. If you ask them their words, nobody knows them in their words. So these are the same people who go to Abuja, they have access to the press, and they make all kinds of statements, and they have the freedom to do that, by the way. They can make all kinds of statements they have that has nothing to do with the foundation of this party, that is going on. That's why I told you, if there is anybody that can come forward to start showing this agreement, will be the National Working Committee that was dissolved. Instead, you are seeing the chairman, coming to lead what is happening today. The president has continued to re-emphasize, and arguably correctly too, that he is the leader of the party. And he has already given directives and advice to this party about the direction we are going at the state levels. The governors are in charge of this party, and as far as I'm concerned, I don't see any one of those differences or this crisis. These are things happening between one ministry or the other, and I think you identified it clearly when you say personal. These are just issues of personal nature. Those are not APC issues.
So, but let me ask you, as a leader, sir, Governor, are you worried about some of these issues? In other democracies, let's take the politics of the United States, for example. When leaders of the parliament, who are also representatives of the party in the parliament, have issues within the party, sometimes we've seen the leaders in the parliament here, the APC is a ruling party, both at the executive arm and at the legislative arm. For example, we've seen Senator Ahmed Lawan and Senator Gbajabiamila meeting with the president on issues relating to how they will organize and coordinate the affairs of the party on the floor. Are you worried as a leader of the party with some of these differences that we have seen openly?
No. As a matter of fact, you have given an example of a country I have known, a country I have lived for 20 years, United States of America. That's what you see continuously in the United States of America. You continue to see differences from the time of Reagan all the way to the time of Bush, all the way to Clinton time, to now the second George Bush Jr., and all the way to where we have Obama. You will continue to see once there are differences there within the party, they run to the leaders of the party. But remember, the executive and the legislature are two autonomous, two independent bodies. None of them reports to the other, but they relate with one another. So it is not unusual when you find the president of the Senate, Lawan, disagreeing with the president, and that's the right thing that is supposed to be done. To show the independence of the judiciary, independence of the legislature. It's not that everything the president agrees with, Lawan must agree with it. Then that's not democracy. That's why I say I'm happy you brought the example of a country I know, a country I have lived for most of my life. Thank you very much.
All right, so let's take a breather, Governor Sule. But when we come back, there are all the very important issues relating to how your party is leading this country, because you got a mandate as a party to lead the country. So some of the issues that have been raised over the last few days, some opposition parties saying the president should resign, and also we're going to ask you some of the issues and the affairs of Nasarawa State. That's going to be after this break. Join us again, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Let's get back to the conversation with the governor of Nasarawa State, Engineer Abdullahi Sule. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for talking to us tonight. Let me, you heard that soundbite from the young professionals in your party begging the president to intervene in some of the crises of the party. Let me ask you, Mr. Governor, about the issues of anti-corruption. The PDP has asked President Buhari to resign because of the issues of corruption and the insecurity in the country. It comes at a time in the history of this nation when the opposition believes that the president and the ruling APC is not doing enough, and perhaps, according to the opposition party, that the present government is covering up corruption under his government.
If they have said anything different, I would have been surprised. I think they said what they are supposed to say. They spoke like opposition, like you mentioned. That's what they are. We have seen worse cases of corruption in this country than ever. We have seen the issues during the PDP era about subsidy issues in this country. Nobody has any president to resign. We have seen issues where even the president of PDP were directly connected. In this case, Mr. President has not been connected in any of these cases, yet nobody has asked the past president to resign. We have seen corruption at the highest level during the time of insecurity. Insecurity funds were being diverted for something else. Nobody has asked. So if you ask me, really, I think the PDP has spoken like PDP. If they had said anything different from what they said, I would have been surprised.
Are you saying that corruption is not presently alive at the moment in the country under the Buhari government?
Corruption is very much alive. It has always been alive in Nigeria, no doubt about it. Nobody can tell you no. But the good thing is that once there is corruption, you penalize those involved. You have seen a president who strongly believes, in the Caesar for corruption fighting. That is the head of the EFCC. But when the issue comes, he was called upon to answer. He was called upon. There are people, and he was removed from that office. That is the way of fighting corruption. The issue about corruption in Nigeria in the past is that people who were found corrupt were covered. No punishment was done. As long as there is corruption and punishment, you will see the level of corruption reducing in this country. The body language of Mr. President is fighter of corruption. Those who want to be corrupt usually run away from him. That's why even his enemies will tell you that Mr. President is incorruptible. That is one thing that has gone so well for him. And you can hardly link him to any of this corruption. And where he has enough information, Mr. President takes it over and penalizes those involved. And I just gave you an example of a whole chairman of the EFCC was removed because he has been there. He is not even convicted yet. It was actually allegations that have been leveled against him. Yet he has been removed. We have some situations where people are convicted, they are taken to prison in this case, and they found their ways back to the society, because of the way we have fought corruption in the past.
So, Governor, before I take you to matters of Nasarawa State quickly, let me ask you, we're seeing a lot of issues in your party. Governor, your colleague in Edo State, left your party for the PDP. There's been a lot of storm in your party ahead of those two elections. We're hearing a lot of internal bickerings also in Ondo State ahead of the governorship election there. But on a large base, Some members and the leaders of your party are saying ambitions of 2023 is at play in your party. Has your party discussed where your party might be zoning 2023 presidency?
Well, I think I answered this question with you in one of my appearances, Sheon. It is not an issue, it's not a subject. When we get to the bridge, we cross it. As at now, it's not an issue that came up. Mr. President has never discussed with us about 2023. For instance, for me, I have just been elected. We have just gone 1 year into this. It's people who just want to hit the policy for absolutely no reason whatsoever. They start talking about 2023, conniving this and that. Most of the people who have done that, you will see by the time it's 2023, they will be completely out of the way. Because right now, it's time for us to be able to work for what we have voted for into these offices. It's not time to start talking about 2023 to the point of where you are having disagreement and then dislocations of the party, this and that. It's not even the issue. So for us in National State, we don't allow it as an issue to be discussed. And I'm telling you, Mr. President has never, at any time whatsoever, any meeting that I attended, unless it's a meeting I didn't attend, and we have never discussed at any of our APC governors forum anything concerning 2023. So to talk about zoning and the rest of that, these are all speculators, who want to make sure we are not focused on what we are doing. But we remain focused in the direction we are going.
Let me ask you, Governor Sule, COVID-19 has indeed taught the world a lesson. In Nasarawa State, what lesson has that taught you and what have you done differently?
It has taught us a lot of lessons, actually, for us in Nasarawa State. The health sector, I don't know about other states, that in Nasarawa State has not been taken as serious as during this period. We always say it, verbally, that health is wealth, but in reality, it was just lip service. Today, the way we are paying attention to health, we have never, and this is a fact. Today, the way we are concerned about our health situation, and I will give you a very good example. Right here in Latvia, there is a dustbin that's been there for 30 years. This dustbin at the middle of people. Today, we are worried. We have evacuated that dustbin completely because it's also affecting the health of the people. So the way we are looking at health today, that's one lesson that we have done that. And people are now worried and concerned about this. Another thing is about all this heavy nature of people mingling with a lot of people. People are now worried and have learned a lot from it. And some people have died in Nasarawa State, and they are associated with COVID-19. And some of these people are high-profile people. So people are now beginning to be aware and to be conscious and to be concerned about their health more than they have done in the past. So I think that's one big lesson we have learned, which is a positive lesson.
Governor Abdullahi Sule, Governor of Nasarawa, said, indeed, it's a pleasure talking to you on some of these issues. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye for now.